Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chanel Auto Cars. We take you where others don't. Today, we go deep into the return of a street legend. This isn't just a car. This is muscle memory, reborn. The 2026 Chevrolet Nova SS 369 is back. It didn't knock. It kicked the door in. Once feared on drag strips and idolized in neighborhoods from Compton to Cleveland, the Nova SS earned its scars not in marketing brochures but in late-night races on moonlit backroads. Back then, the name Nova didn't whisper. It roared. And now, Chevrolet has taken the past, thrown it in the forge, and hammered out a street beast for the new age. The 2026 Nova SS 369 isn't an imitation. It isn't a tribute. It's a resurrection. Under the hood, a naturally aspirated 6.1-liter V8 engine. No turbos. No gimmicks. Just old-school displacement paired with modern engineering. The result? 625 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it's numbers. On the street, it's domination. But let's rewind. Back to why this car matters. In 1962, the Chevy 2 was born. It was simple, affordable, and then came the SS package. The Nova SS. By 1968, it was lean, mean, and feared. It was never a rich kid's car. It was the everyman's warrior. Fast forward 6 decades, and that same spirit is back, angrier and smarter. You won't find screens cluttering the interior. The 2026 Nova SS strips it back. Aluminum dials. Analog gauges. A short-throw 6-speed manual is standard. An optional 10-speed auto for those who want speed without effort. But true fans, they row their own gears. Inside, there's no luxury for the sake of pretense. Black leather, red stitching, carbon fiber inserts, and a flat-bottom steering wheel with retro badging. Every inch screams purpose. Even the seats, bolstered, yet familiar. Like the kind that hugged your uncle's back while he taught you how to powerslide in the old Nova. And then, there's the sound. It doesn't purr. It howls. Quad-pipe exhausts rumble at idle and erupt under load. No artificial enhancement, no digital soundtrack. Just mechanical music. The kind that shakes your bones and draws neighbors to their windows. The stance is wide. Aggressive. A front splitter with real aero. Hood vents that do more than look good, they breathe. 20-inch forged wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Brembo 6-piston brakes up front, 4-piston rears. You don't just go fast. You stop like your life depends on it. On launch control, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, quarter mile in 11 flat. But this isn't just a drag strip demon. It's been to the Nürburgring. Tuned on real corners. Independent suspension, adaptive dampers, electronic limited slip differential. It'll grip when it needs to, and slide when you ask. But here's the genius. It doesn't forget what it is. No EV silence. No AI overreach. Just combustion, chaos, and control. It doesn't apologize for being loud, thirsty, and raw. It doesn't ask for permission. It gives you a key and says, let's go. The design isn't retro for nostalgia's sake. It's evolutionary. A long hood, short deck. A fastback roofline that flows into a ducktail spoiler. LED lighting, yes, but shaped like the twin round taillights of the 70s. A split grille that nods to its ancestors but commands its own presence. And the badge? Nova in bold chrome. SS 369 in blood red beneath it. The 369? It's more than a number. It's the spiritual successor to the 396. A nod to big block brawn, reborn in an era that tried to kill the V8. It's Chevy saying, we're still here. There are 3 trims: Base SS, Track Edition, and the Blackout 369. The Track Edition adds aero, semi-slicks, titanium exhaust, and a rear seat delete. It's meant for lap times. The Blackout 369? It's all matte black, red calipers, tinted lights, and terror. A muscle car with a villain complex. You're not getting a 0.5-liter glovebox fridge. No massaging seats. No scent diffusers. But you are getting magnetic ride control. You're getting launch settings. You're getting a drift mode that turns grown men into grinning fools. Fuel economy? Don't ask. It gets smiles per gallon. EPA estimates? Low teens. But if that bothers you, this car wasn't built for you. And it's not priced for billionaires. Chevy made sure it stays in the fight. Starting at $52,000. Fully loaded Blackout 369, Just under $68,000. Less than half the price of a European coupe with half the soul. It's built in Detroit. Hand-finished panels. American steel. American roar. American rebellion. It doesn't conform to 2030 mandates. It defies them. It might be the last of its kind. Or the first of the next wave. Underneath the marketing is the message. Not every muscle car had to die for the EV revolution. Not every brand needs to go quiet. Chevy just proved there's still room for smoke, fuel, and fury. And the public? They showed up. Pre-orders sold out in 72 hours. The first 369 units, all numbered, are already collectibles. The forums are lit. The streets, louder than ever. Nova owners from the 70s are passing keys to grandkids. Young tuners are discovering torque. And in a world of overprocessed performance, this car feels like truth. It's the kind of car that doesn't care if you're rich, poor, or in between. It just asks, can you drive? Will you? Because the Nova SS369 rewards those who dare. It's not here to play nice, it's here to play loud. There are no apologies in its throttle. No hesitation in its revs. It's all heart. All brawn. All legacy. It's for the misfits, the racers, the garage builders. For the guy who smells like 10W40. For the girl who shifts better than her boyfriend. For the ones who never stopped believing that America could build a car with bite. This is more than horsepower. It's heritage. It's the return of something primal. A car that's just as at home in front of a diner at 2 a.m. as it is doing donuts in an abandoned parking lot. In an age of compliance, the Nova SS369 is defiance. It doesn't speak. It shouts. This was here. If you want to hear what rebellion sounds like, listen to a Nova at Redline. Subscribe for more. The road's just getting louder. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chanel Auto Cars. This is here. We take you where others won't. Today, we go where ghosts still roam. Where chrome once glittered under neon. Where Monte Carlo wasn't a European playground. It was an American street legend. This isn't just a car. It's a name with a heartbeat. The 2026 Chevrolet Monte Carlo has returned. And it didn't come to reminisce. It came to reclaim. Back in 1970, the Monte Carlo didn't need to shout. It just showed up. Long, wide, elegant, but lethal. It was the muscle car that wore a tuxedo. Refined. But never soft. It knew what it was. A full-bodied coupe with full-blown power. It looked like it belonged at a gala, but deep down, it lived for the quarter mile. Over the decades, it evolved, adapted, survived. But then, it vanished. Buried under the weight of SUVs and silence. And now, it's back. Louder, leaner, and unapologetically itself. The 2026 Monte Carlo isn't a museum piece. It's a modern weapon shaped by legacy. Under the hood, the beating heart of American defiance. A 6.2-liter LT4 supercharged V8. The same power plant that terrified streets in the Camaro ZL1. But here, it's tuned for the coupe life. 688 horsepower. 659 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Quarter mile in 10.7. Top speed, 202 miles per hour, electronically limited. But that's just the numbers. What you feel is the surge. The moment your right foot hits the firewall and the supercharger screams like a banshee set loose. What you hear is thunder rolling from a quad exhaust system tuned to rattle storefront glass and shake car alarms into panic. This isn't a car you politely drive, it's one you tame. It's rear-wheel drive, because that's how real coupes dance. Magnetic ride control adapts on the fly. And if you're feeling bold, there's a drift control mode that lets the Monte Carlo cut loose like it's prom night in 1972. There's also a launch control so precise, it feels like cheating, and yet, nothing about this car feels synthetic. The Monte Carlo has always been about presence, and the 2026 version? It's undeniable. Over 16 feet long, over 6 feet wide, with a wheelbase that stretches like it's reaching for its own legacy. The design cues are unmistakable: long hood, short deck, crisp rear fenders, aggressive stance. The front grille, bold, blacked out, framed in chrome. Dual-element LED headlights that wink like they know something you don't. A wide rear with taillights that stretch the full width, just like the old days. Only sharper, hungrier. And it rides low. Real low, with 21-inch forged wheels wrapped in Michelin PS5 rubber. Behind them, Brembo brakes the size of a pizza. 6 pistons up front, 4 in the rear. Because stopping is just as important as going. Especially when you're moving this fast. Inside, forget touchscreen overdose. It's analog dominance with digital support. A cockpit designed for the driver. Real aluminum accents. Optional Alcantara dash. Leather so rich it could run for Senate. And seats that grip you like a partner in a fast waltz. The gauge cluster blends old-school muscle vibes with modern flair. Round dials, but with digital precision. A head-up display keeps your eyes on the road where they belong. There's an optional performance HUD that shows G-force, boost pressure, and shift lights. It doesn't just tell you what you're doing, it dares you to do more. And yes, there's tech, but only where it makes sense. A 10.3-inch infotainment screen runs GM's latest interface. Wireless Apple CarPlay. Android Auto. Wi-Fi hotspot. But no, it won't read your horoscope or order vegan tacos. It's a driver's car, not a digital babysitter. You want sound? There's a 14-speaker Bose system tuned to the cabin, but most won't use it, because the real soundtrack comes from under the hood. Safety? Oh, it's there. Blind spot monitoring, forward collision alert, lane keep assist. But most of it can be shut off, because sometimes you don't want a co-pilot, you just want to feel alive. The Monte Carlo isn't just a nameplate, it's a flag planted in history. It won NASCAR titles. It owned the street scene in the 80s. It made appearances in hip-hop videos, lowrider shows, and high school dreams. For years, it was the dream car that felt almost attainable. And now, that dream is back on 4 wheels. There are 3 trims: the LT, the SS, and the SSX. The LT is sleek and composed, powered by a 3.0L twin-turbo V6 making 400 horsepower. It's for the daily rebel. The SS is the core, V8 thunder and track day credentials. But the SSX? That's where the devil lives. Lighter body panels. Carbon fiber roof. Rear seat delete. Adjustable COI lovers. Active aero. Built for violence on asphalt. Price? It's not cheap, but it's not unreachable. The LT starts at $47,000. The SS at $64,000. And the SSX, $76,000. For what it offers, it's a bargain. For what it represents, it's priceless. Chevy didn't just build a car. They built a rebellion. Against soulless crossovers. Against the death of the coupe. Against an industry rushing to plug everything in. The Monte Carlo plugs into your spine. Into your memory. Into the parts of you that refuse to go quiet. And it doesn't matter how old you are. This car speaks to the part of you that smiled when you heard a cammed small block at idle. It whispers to the gearhead who still dreams in burnouts and boost gauges. It's not built for Wall Street. It's built for Woodward Avenue, for Route 66, for backroads in the South where Monte Carlos still line up at midnight under flickering gas station lights. The 2026 Monte Carlo is more than transportation. It's declaration. That style still matters. That muscle still lives. That the American coupe still has a pulse. And Chevy, they didn't just bring it back, they brought it back right. From its sculpted silhouette to its snarling engine, every inch of it was crafted for emotion. It's not perfect. It doesn't want to be. It wants to be wild. Free. Loud. It wants to be driven hard and put away hot. And the people? They're responding. Monte Carlo meets are returning. Forums are exploding. Build sheets are being passed around like sacred texts. Fathers are bringing their sons and daughters to dealerships. And for the first time in a long time, the streets are echoing with that name again. Monte Carlo. Not because it's exotic, but because it's ours, because it never should have left. This was here. If you want to know what happens when nostalgia is given nitrous and let loose, look no further than the Monte Carlo. Subscribe, because the story of muscle isn't over. It's just getting louder. This is here. We take you where others don't, and today, we're going back to a name that once ruled the streets with chrome fangs and tire smoke. A name that never whispered, only roared. A name that disappeared too soon. And now, it's back. The 2026 Plymouth GTX. This isn't a rumor. This isn't a prototype. This is real, and it's angry. There are names that define muscle. GTO, Chevelle, Charger. But for the purists, the ones who knew what Mopar truly meant, there was another. GTX. Born in 1967, built to be the gentleman's muscle car. A roadrunner with a silk tie. Raw speed wrapped in class. And for a short, savage period, it dominated. It wasn't meant to last forever. But forever remembered, that was inevitable. Now, after more than 4 decades of silence, the GTX nameplate is back. Not as a shadow of its former self, but as a full-fledged resurrection. The 2026 GTX isn't just another retro cash grab. It's a tribute with teeth, and it's here to burn rubber on your memories. It starts with a shape. A silhouette that screams 70s America but wears 2026 armor. Long hood, squared shoulders, fastback rear glass. The stance is wide, the beltline low. It looks like it's moving even when parked, but there's nothing fake about it. Every vent, every crease, every bulge is functional. This isn't a Photoshop fantasy. This is a track-tested machine. Underneath the sculpted sheet metal is a chassis co-developed with SRT, a modified version of the new STLA large platform, built for high-performance, rear-wheel drive monsters. This means it's not just a looker. It's a fighter. Double wishbone front suspension, adaptive Bilstein dampers, reinforced unibody, and electronic limited slip differential out back. It handles like a predator, poised, explosive, and controlled. But let's talk about the heart, because without the engine, there is no soul. Under the hood, a 6.4-liter naturally aspirated Hemi V8. No turbos. No electric motors. Just raw combustion fury. 515 horsepower. 480 pound-feet of torque. Redline at 6,800 RPM. It revs like it's trying to escape its own hood. And for those who want more, the GTX Super Commando package brings a 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi cranking out 750 horsepower. The same block that lived inside the Hellcat, but tuned, tamed, and ready to unleash in a lighter, tighter coupe. Transmission: a 6-speed Tremec manual is standard. For purists. For drivers. For people who still want to feel every shift like a punch in the gut. But there's also an optional 8-speed ZF automatic with paddle shifters, lightning quick, track-tuned, and surprisingly civil when you need it to be. It's fast. Brutally fast. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, quarter mile in 10.9. But straight line speed was never the only story. The 2026 GTX is balanced. It corners. It brakes. It flows. Because Mopar didn't just bring it back to make noise. They brought it back to make war. The interior tells a story, too. A story of restraint and rebellion. Forget screens stretching across the dash. The GTX keeps it focused. Analog gauges with digital centers. A central tachometer with a red line that taunts. Brushed aluminum switchgear. A pistol grip shifter that pays homage to its ancestors. And seats, bucket style, with Alcantara bolstering and contrast stitching that spells GTX in blood red. It's a cockpit, not a lounge. Yes, there's tech, but only where it counts. Apple CarPlay. Android Auto. Harman Kardon audio. 360-degree camera. Wi-Fi hotspot. But none of it gets in the way. The moment you fire up the engine, the screens fade into background noise. Because this car doesn't want to distract you, it wants to consume you. And then, there's the sound. That unmistakable Hemi growl. At idle, it's a low, menacing thrum. Under load, it's thunder cracking through steel. And when the RPMs climb, it's chaos, refined through stainless steel pipes and an active valve exhaust system that opens wide when you drop the hammer. It's not piped in noise. It's mechanical honesty. Outside, the design pulls you in. The grille is wide and aggressive, with a GTX badge dead center. Hood scoops aren't decorative. They're functional. Air gets in. Heat gets out. The fenders flare just enough to make a statement. In the rear, pure attitude. Quad tips. Sequential LED taillights that sweep with ignition. And that stance. Low, aggressive, unapologetic. Like it's ready to pounce on the next highway exit ramp and tear a new line through the asphalt. There are 3 trims: GTX, GTX Super Commando, and the Black Fury Edition. The base GTX brings V8 Thunder, a manual transmission, and raw attitude. The Super Commando steps it up with supercharged power, forged wheels, Brembo brakes, and adaptive dampers. And the Black Fury? It's a monster. Matte black everything. Carbon fiber hood. Rear seat delete. Weight reduction. Aerodynamic tweaks. Track-only tires. Limited to 500 units. Built for the driver who wants to punish pavement. And pricing? It doesn't start cheap, nor should it. The base GTX begins at $56,000. The Super Commando at $69,900. And the Black Fury? $84,000, if you can get one. Most were claimed within 48 hours of launch. Because this isn't just a muscle car, it's a movement. For years, Mopar fans asked, when will it happen? When will the GTX return? And the answer always seemed to be, never. The name was retired. The factory was silent. But silence breeds hunger. And now, the factory sings again. And the name? It's louder than ever. GTX wasn't just about speed. It was about presence. It was about showing up to the cruise night and parking next to a Chevelle SS with confidence. It was about pulling up to the light, revving twice, and letting fate decide. It was about heart, not data. And in 2026, that heart beats again. This is the last stand of the American coupe. The world is going electric. The noise is being outlawed. The manuals are dying. But here's a car that said no. Here's a car that showed up late to the party, and then flipped the table. It doesn't want to be everyone's car, it wants to be yours. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, it was never meant for you. This isn't about efficiency. It's about emotion. It's about nights spent wrenching under streetlights. About burnouts behind the school. About races you lost and wins you'll never forget. It's about the sound of a cold start on a Saturday morning. The smell of 93 octane. The chirp of second gear. The grin when you realize, you're not just driving, you're alive. This is the 2026 Plymouth GTX. It's not here to compete. It's here to conquer. This was here. If you ever wanted to know what the ghost of muscle would look like with flesh and fire, this is it. Subscribe. Because we're not done, and neither is the street. This is here. We take you where others don't. Today, we enter the ring for what might be the last round. The 2026 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 is not a gentle exit. It's a mic drop. The last battle cry of a breed born for war. It doesn't whisper goodbye, it screams it. You've heard the stories. Camaro. The pony car that grew fangs. Born in '67 to fight the Mustang, but it didn't want peace. It wanted glory. And the one Zelati? That wasn't just a badge. That was the nuclear option. It was a race engine in a street body. A weapon disguised as a coupe. And now, in 2026, it returns for one final act. Not softened. Not silenced. But savage to the end. Let's be clear. This isn't a new Camaro. It's the last Camaro. GM said it would bow out after this. The book closes. The final chapter is here. But how do you end something so iconic? With noise. With defiance. With horsepower. Lots of it. Under the hood of the 2026 One Zelati is the revised LT4 V8. Supercharged. Intercooled. And angry. It makes 700 horsepower flat. Torque? 678 pound-feet of it. The block is aluminum. The crank is forged. The pistons are lightweight. Everything in the engine bay is built to scream, survive, and do it again. 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds. Quarter mile, 10.8 seconds. Top speed, 204 miles per hour. It doesn't just perform, it performs with prejudice. But numbers are easy. What matters is how it feels, and the One Zelati feels like a controlled explosion. A bomb you ride instead of run from. The throttle isn't a pedal, it's a detonator. The transmission, standard, is a 6-speed manual. Short throws. Heavy clutch. A joy for those who still know how to heel toe and don't mind sore calves. Optional is GM's 10-speed automatic. Lightning quick, paddle shifted, and track proven. It adapts faster than you do. But no matter the gearbox, the story's the same. Power to the rear wheels, and the smell of burnt rubber if you're not careful, or if you are. The chassis is magnetic ride equipped. The dampers read the road 1,000 times per second. You can go from track animal to highway cruiser with a press of a button. But make no mistake, this isn't a luxury car. It's a fight with asphalt, and you better bring gloves. It rides on a revised Alpha platform. Lightweight, stiff, tuned to perfection. The steering is electric, but you'd never guess it. Feedback is sharp. Direct. Like a scalpel cutting through the turns. Up front are Brembo 6-piston brakes with 15.4-inch rotors. Rear, 4 piston clamps. When you want to stop, it listens, violently. The tires, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. Sticky in all the right ways. Mounted on 20-inch forged aluminum wheels with a black chrome finish. Light. Strong. Unapologetically aggressive. But the One Zloty isn't just about performance, it's about presence, and the 2026 model announces itself before it even moves. The front fascia is new, larger grille openings to suck in air like a jet engine. A carbon fiber hood with a center extractor. It's not style, it's survival. The supercharger needs to breathe, and the body gives it lungs. Fender flares hug the wide tires. The splitter up front is razor sharp. And at the back, a new ducktail spoiler that nods to its '69 ancestor. Quad exhaust tips. A new diffuser. Taillights that glow like coiled magma. The silhouette hasn't changed much, because it didn't need to. It still looks like it's doing 100 standing still. Inside, it's all black leather, Alcantara, and red stitching. Recaro buckets grip you like a roller coaster harness. Flat bottom steering wheel. Digital cluster. Head-up display. You feel like a pilot, not a passenger. The infotainment, 11-inch touchscreen. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. 4G LTE hotspot. But no one cares. The real entertainment is in the rearview mirror, where everything else disappears. There are modes: Tour, Sport, Track, Snow, Ice, and for those who dare, Performance Traction Management. It adjusts everything: throttle response, shift speed, damping, torque vectoring. You don't drive it. You tune it to the road ahead like a symphony of violence. But what makes the One Zloty dangerous is its mind. GM's performance data recorder is built in. You can overlay lap times, G-forces, and throttle, brake inputs onto real-time video. It doesn't just make you faster, it shows you how. And when it's time to shut it all off, the nannies, the assists, the safety nets, you're left alone. Just you, the machine, and the consequence. Because this is what driving is supposed to be. The ZL1 comes in 3 packages. The base One Zloty, the ZL1 Track Pack, and the final edition. The base gives you everything you need: power, balance, madness. The Track Pack adds carbon ceramic brakes, adjustable aero, and sticky R compound tires. It drops 80 pounds. Adds 1.2 G of cornering force. It's a street-legal cage fighter. But the final edition? That's the legacy car. Limited to 1969 units. A nod to the original ZL1 year. Each one hand-assembled. Each one numbered. Satin black accents. Serialized dash plaque. And the option for a stripped-down interior with rear seat delete and roll bar prep. It's not cheap. The base starts at $74,000. Track Pack hits $84,000. Final edition? $95,000. But good luck finding one. Pre-orders sold out in 72 hours. And flippers are already asking 6 figures. Because people know what this is. This isn't just a car. This is a tombstone. A tribute. A war cry before the silence. This is the last time a Camaro will be built with a V8, rear-wheel drive, and zero compromise. GM confirmed it. After 2026, the Camaro will go dark. EV versions may follow. Crossovers may carry the name. But this One Zloty? This is the final boss. It's loud. It's raw. It's everything a generation grew up idolizing. And it refuses to go quietly. It's a burnout in an era of battery life. A downshift in a world obsessed with software updates. A rebel yell on an increasingly quiet road. And it speaks to the ones who still believe. The ones who learned to drive on gravel. Who know what a limited slip differential feels like in the rain. Who know that horsepower isn't the whole story, it's the start of it. The Camaro ZL1 has been through hell and back. It survived the 70s, the 80s, the 2002 shutdown. It returned in 2010 with vengeance. It evolved. Got sharper. Quicker. Meaner. And now, at the end, it's as sharp as it's ever been. Because it knows this is it. No more revisions, no more updates, no next general. This is the summit, and it's been worth the climb. For those lucky enough to own one, they're not just buying a car. They're buying closure. They're buying history. They're buying the last pages of a book written in burnout smoke and gasoline. This is the 2026 Camaro One Zloty. Not built to last. Built to be remembered. This was here. If you ever wanted to hear what the final breath of muscle sounds like, listen to a ZL1 at Redline. Subscribe. Because the legends might be fading, but not without a fight. That puts you in the driver's seat of tomorrow's machines today. From roaring legends to futuristic marvels, here doesn't just tell stories, we drive them. If power, nostalgia, and raw American muscle ignite your soul, then buckle in. Because what you're about to experience isn't just a car, it's a resurrection. This is the 2026 Plymouth Road Runner. Once a rebel of the muscle car world, the Road Runner was Plymouth's answer to power-hungry purists who didn't want frills, just thrills. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, it dominated drag strips and blacktop legends with no apologies and no chrome-coated distractions. Its signature horn, its raw power, and its no-nonsense styling earned it a spot in automotive history. But then it disappeared, a ghost, a memory, another victim of rising insurance rates, emission regulations, and changing times. Until now, the 2026 Plymouth Road Runner is more than a comeback. It's a message. It says the muscle car isn't dead, it's evolved. It's leaner, meaner, electrified but unchained. This new Road Runner doesn't play by the old rules, it rewrites them. Gone is the sluggish metal of the past, replaced by a lightweight aluminum and carbon fiber composite chassis that balances classic proportions with modern aerodynamics. But it doesn't scream for attention. It smirks. Low-slung, wide-shouldered, and unapologetically aggressive, the Road Runner carries a silhouette that whispers heritage but delivers havoc. And under the hood, that's where things get wicked. You have a choice. The base engine, if you can even call it that, is a twin-turbocharged 6.4-liter V8 delivering 720 horsepower. It's been fine-tuned with hybrid electric assist that kicks in when needed, pushing total output to 785 horsepower and 750 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Quarter mile, 10.1. This isn't your father's muscle car, it's his nightmare. But if you're not satisfied with just madness, Plymouth offers the Track Predator package. That's when the hybrid system goes full send. Twin electric motors on the front axle bring all-wheel drive madness and torque vectoring to the game. That boosts total output to a staggering 970 horsepower. It redlines your senses, not just the tachometer. The battery isn't just for efficiency, it's weaponized energy. And it charges fast, 20% to 80% in 18 minutes using a 400 kilowatts ultra-fast charger. But don't call it an EV. The Road Runner is a hybrid muscle predator with a soul. You'll still hear the V8 thunder crack like a whip across the horizon. You'll still feel the vibrations in your spine. And yes, it still has that horn. Plymouth resurrected the classic, meep meep, but now it's digitized and programmable. Want to blast? Highway to hell, instead. Done. Inside, the cockpit is all about control. Not luxury, not gimmicks, just pure, tactile, driver-focused engineering. A 14.5-inch wraparound OLED display curves toward the driver like a pilot's HUD. Analog dials, digital renderings, toggle switches, real metal, shift paddles, milled aluminum, everything feels mechanical, even when it's digital. The steering wheel is flat-topped and flat-bottomed with embedded controls, giving you race car feedback without overwhelming your grip. The seats are bucket-style bolstered monsters made from recycled Alcantara and ventilated leather. And yes, they vibrate when you're hitting redline or understeering too deep. Sound design is handled by Harman Kardon with 16 speakers, but good luck hearing them over the engine and road symphony you'll be creating. The 2026 Road Runner isn't built to cruise, it's built to chase. So it comes with 6 drive modes: Eco, Street, Track, Drift, Pursuit, and Meep mode. Yes, Meep mode. When activated, it artificially limits the car's noise and speed, ideal for stealth exits or late-night escapes. But press and hold that mode for 5 seconds, and the screen flashes red. The revs jump, and you're in Beep Beast mode, unbridled, uncaged, and completely off the leash. Safety, oh, it's there. But it never interrupts. Adaptive cruise, automatic braking, lane centering. All included. But they're hidden. Invisible unless you activate them. The car assumes you're the predator, not the prey. And because this is 2026, of course it's connected. Over-the-air updates keep your powertrain optimized. New drive modes are downloadable. The car learns your habits, your routes, even your favorite pit stops. Voice command, naturally. But this one responds to engine growls too. Rev 3 times in neutral, that's how you activate launch lock. It's more than just a gimmick. It's theater. And while we're talking style, let's talk skins. The Road Runner comes in 12 limited edition colorways inspired by the original Mopar era. Plum Crazy Purple, Hemi Orange, Superbird Blue, and, of course, Roadrunner Yellow. Each one comes with animated digital badges on the quarter panels that pulse with speed. Paint is embedded with microscopic nanotube particles that shimmer under sunlight and shift colors slightly with temperature. It's alive. But Plymouth didn't stop at looks. They brought back something more powerful than nostalgia: identity. Every Road Runner sold is part of a digital registry tied to the blockchain, which records miles, mods, track events, and ownership history. Your car builds its own legacy, and you can pass it down like a modern muscle family tree. No more guessing what's under the hood or who owned it last. The car tells its story. Want more madness? Plymouth's aftermarket division, called Acme Works, offers performance upgrades that don't void your warranty. Supercharger kits, custom exhaust mappings, body kits styled by ex-aerospace engineers. You can turn your Roadrunner into a track demon or a street slick sleeper. But at its core, the 2026 Roadrunner is about driving. Not just fast, but furious. The suspension is adaptive magnetorheological. Translation: it reads the road 1,000 times per second and adjusts in real time. Steering is electrically assisted, but road feel is hydraulic style simulated. The tires: bespoke Goodyear racing compound radials that can hold lateral Gs up to 1.2 without squeal. And if you're worried about range, don't. With the hybrid setup, you can cruise nearly 600 miles on a single full tank and charge. And if you're in town, go fully electric for 40 miles of silent prowling. Let's talk price. It's not cheap. Base model starts at $78,900. Track Predator? $102,500. Fully loaded MEP edition? $119,000. But that's not the point. This isn't a car you buy with logic. This is a machine you earn, crave, and live for. Production is limited. Only 12,000 units globally for the first year. And each one comes with a collector's plaque signed by the design team and a digital key embedded in an NFC ring you wear. No more fumbling for fobs. Walk up, and the car knows it's you. Sit down, and it adjusts everything to your profile. Music, climate, exhaust note, suspension, throttle mapping. Your Road Runner isn't just fast. It's loyal. In testing, journalists couldn't stop smiling. Some cried, others screamed, but everyone agreed, this isn't just a comeback. It's a reckoning. It's the past and future fused into something primal. Something angry. Something untamed. No other car lets you feel like this. The Mustang Dark Horse might outcorner it. The Camaro ZL1 might outtech it. But none of them carry this much attitude. This much heritage. This much soul. The Roadrunner isn't just a nameplate. It's a war cry. And in a world going soft and silent, this thing just stomped the gas and shouted, meep meep, into the void. So the question isn't, why did they bring it back? It's, what took so long? This is more than metal and rubber. It's memory and momentum fused into a new American icon. It's not just a car. It's a statement. The 2026 Plymouth Road Runner. Still running. Still wild. Still here. Thanks for watching here, the channel where the road meets the roar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this is just the beginning. We've got more legends rising, more beasts reborn, and more miles to cover. Until next time, keep it loud, keep it fast, and keep it here. Hey everyone, welcome. Some names are too legendary to stay buried. Some legacies are too loud to fade into silence. In the world of American performance, few badges strike the same chord as Impala. And fewer still wear the numbers 427 with the kind of confidence and muscle-fueled menace that shook the earth in the golden age of horsepower. Now, in 2025, the Impala SS 427 roars back, not just as a tribute to what once was, but as a flag planted defiantly in the pavement of modern performance. This isn't just a big sedan with a badge. It's a throwback engineered with modern brutality. It's comfort draped in a leather jacket and steel knuckles. A muscle car disguised as a full-size luxury cruiser. The 2025 Impala SS 427 is here, and it wants you to remember what real American power feels like. The rebirth begins under the hood. Chevrolet didn't resurrect the SS badge just for show. No hybrid gimmicks, no Turbo 4 compromises. The 2025 Impala SS 427 is powered by a naturally aspirated 7.0-liter V8, yes, a big block. Modernized. Rev-happy. Proudly loud. The LT7 engine, based on a re-engineered version of the legendary 427 cubic inch motor, delivers 610 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque at 5,900 RPM. This isn't your quiet corporate sedan. This is a performance monster hiding in plain sight. Mash the throttle, and the full-size chassis surges forward like a freight train with rocket boosters. 0 to 60, just 3.8 seconds. Quarter mile, 11.9 flat, and it does it with rear-wheel drive fury, no apologies. You feel every piston stroke, every ignition crack, every pulse of torque through the floorboard. This car doesn't hum, it howls. And the howl isn't manufactured through the speakers. It's delivered straight from the dual-mode exhaust that bellows out the back with authority. Chevy engineers took the LT7 and made it behave like a track engine, with forged internals, sodium-filled valves, performance cams, and an aggressive tune that brings throttle response to razor-edge sharpness. It runs on premium, breathes through a high-flow intake, and redlines at 6,800 RPM. A shockingly high ceiling for such a massive engine. It doesn't struggle to reverend, it celebrates it. But the 2025 Impala SS427 isn't just about power. It's about presence. From the moment you see it, it grabs you. Long, low, wide. A silhouette that calls back to the muscle car era but looks surgically modern. The front fascia is bold, clean, aggressive. A wide grille stretches from headlamp to headlamp, finished in piano black with a floating red SS emblem hovering dead center. The LED daytime runners form a sharp arc across the face like war paint. The hood is long invented, not for style but for cooling. The big block underneath demands airflow. From the side, you get a full sense of the Impala's attitude. A fastback profile with strong shoulder lines, 21-inch forged alloy wheels, flared fenders, and a stance that's lowered by nearly 2 inches compared to the standard Impala platform. Door handles are flush. Side skirts are functional. Even the window trim is blacked out. The SS427 doesn't do chrome, it does menace. In the rear, quad exhaust tips are tucked into a sculpted diffuser. Taillights are sleek, horizontal, and animated. A subtle rear lip spoiler crowns the decklid, with another SS badge glowing in crimson. When the brake lights flicker and the V8 snaps on overrun, it's not just a signal to the car behind you, it's a warning. Step inside, and the mission becomes clearer. The 2025 Impala SS427 isn't just a performance car, it's a performance lounge. The cabin is driver-focused but luxurious, premium but purposeful. Sport seats wrap you in leather and Alcantara, with SS embroidery stitched into the headrests. Red seat belts. Red contrast stitching. A flat-bottom steering wheel with carbon fiber inserts and oversized aluminum paddle shifters. Everything you touch feels solid, expensive, and fast. The dash is digital, yes, but not cold. The 12.3-inch driver display can show you classic analog dials or full telemetry. A secondary screen handles navigation, media, performance apps, and climate, all accessible via swipe or voice. The 10-speaker Bose performance system thumps, but again, you won't use it much. The engine is the headline act. You want features? Try launch control, line lock, customizable drive modes, a drift assist mode, real-time G-force tracking, performance shift indicator, wireless charging, 5G connectivity, heads-up display with customizable rev band, built-in dashcam that activates with lateral force, and a track mode that lowers the ride height, opens the baffles, and tightens throttle maps to supercar-level aggression. And then there's what you don't see. Under the skin, the SS427 rides on GM's Alpha Plus platform, shared with the Camaro ZL1 and adapted for this longer wheelbase. Independent rear suspension, upgraded control arms, adaptive dampers, and a 5-link rear geometry make this the best handling Impala ever made. This is no boat. It's a land missile with steering feel. Brembo 6-piston brakes clamp 15.6-inch rotors up front. The tires are Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Steering is electric, variable ratio, and surprisingly communicative. On a mountain road, the big Impala feels half its size. On the freeway, it glides like a missile on rails. And still, it's comfortable. The SS427 doesn't sacrifice luxury. You get ventilated and heated seats, massaging lumbar, dual-zone climate, ambient lighting, and a panoramic moonroof. Rear passengers get their own climate controls, USB-C ports, and generous space. Trunk space, over 17 cubic feet. This is a muscle car you can road trip. The Grand Touring mode softens the dampers, hushes the exhaust, and makes the SS427 as quiet as an S-Class on smooth pavement. But flip the mode to track, and it becomes a different beast. The transmission remaps. The steering weights up. The exhaust screams. The car tenses, ready to pounce. And it does pounce. At a stoplight, the Impala SS427 can lay stripes without drama. On the highway, it can disappear into the horizon. In a canyon, it dances like a heavyweight with ballerina feet. You can cruise in it. You can carve with it. You can live with it every day and never get bored. Customization? You bet. Choose from 10 exterior colors, including sulfur monosulfide exclusive crimson blast, nightfall steel, deep ocean blue, and matte iron black. Stripe packages in silver, red, and ghost gray. Wheel designs in gloss black, machine finish, or carbon weave. Interior trims in black leather, red suede, or two-tone. Optional carbon ceramic brakes. Optional carbon fiber roof. Optional performance exhaust with track-only baffles. You can build it your way, mean, clean, or somewhere in between. Pricing starts at $74,000. Fully loaded, expect closer to $91,000. For what it delivers, V8 power, full-size luxury, track-ready hardware, it undercuts most of the market by tens of thousands. You can't get a BMW M5 for that. You can't get a Mercedes E63 for that. But you can get an Impala SS427 that'll give them both nightmares. This isn't a nostalgia act. It's a modern classic. It brings the past roaring into the present, with muscle, manners, and meaning. It isn't built for TikTok trends. It's built for asphalt and adrenaline. This is a car that doesn't whisper. It speaks in tire smoke and wide open throttle. It was made for people who remember what real performance felt like, and want to feel it again. Chevy says this is only the beginning. Rumors already swirl about a limited edition Black Widow package with even more power and a track-tuned suspension. Talk of a coupe variant. Maybe even a hybrid assist version for low-end torque. But what we have now is already enough to shake up the entire segment. And that's the thing, there is no segment. No other car in this category offers this formula. A true V8 powered, rear drive, full-size American muscle sedan that blends heritage and high-tech. That honors the badge it wears. That earns the number 427. This car isn't trying to be European. It's not trying to be trendy. It's trying to be timeless. And it is. This is here. Thanks for watching.